Topic number 3. Let's go Lions and Chiefs, man. NFL football regular season is here, baby. Thursday night.
First game of the regular season on Thursday night. What's the you got spreads pulled up? What's the spread on that game? I think it's like 5. I think 5.5 is the last time I saw it, but I could be wrong on that.
Let me look at it real quick. I'll find it for you.
I'm not even gonna talk while you do it.
Come on, talk to me. Sing me a song.
I've talked enough.
Sing me a
Done
song.
talking.
Sing me a Go Tigers Go song. All right. It is I'm on ESPN. Should I be on something else? Oh, no. 6.5. Minus 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah, the over under is 54.5.
Okay. This is the opening game of the year. I mean, I think it's usually you see like 2 teams that went deep in the playoffs the year before. Yeah. Like last year, it was the Rams who had won the Super Bowl in 2021 versus the Bills who had went to the either AFC Championship game or they lost in the divisional game to the Chiefs. It was the overtime Mahomes-Allen battle. So it's 2 teams that typically go pretty deep in the playoffs the year before. This year, They throw the Lions in there, which I'm
telling you about the Lions. That's what they think about the Lions.
Right. A lot of people are hyped about the Lions. Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, the GM, have done just a ridiculously good job at turning that team around. Obviously, they haven't been to the playoffs yet in the 2 years under Dan Campbell, but you can see what he's building. You can see like that team just has so much confidence. So I love this as an opening week matchup. Last year's was an absolute dud. The Bills killed the Rams in the season opener because the Rams
are trash, man.
Yeah, they had just won the Super Bowl and everything was kind of going downhill for them.
They went all in on that Super Bowl and said, "Right, hey man, we'll pick the pieces up later."
Yeah, Stafford's health was in question going into the season last year, and he didn't make it through the entire season, so it wasn't great. This game has the opportunity to just be fireworks, offensive fireworks. I mean, you look at the talent offensively in this game, you start with the obvious of Patrick Mahomes, and then you've got Travis Kelce, the best tight end of all time. You've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think has a chance to establish himself as a top 5, top 7 receiver in the league this year. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs, the first-round pick out of Alabama, number 12 overall pick, who they are extremely excited about.
They got a rookie running back starting, and they're 2 deep, man. They got him number 1 in the 2 deep.
Yeah, I mean, they drafted him to be the guy. I mean,
he's that good?
Yeah. Jahmyr
Gibbs, I believe you.
Yeah, I mean, rookie running backs, though, they go straight starting. Like, if you're drafting a rookie running back in the first round, like, they're going to start. Like, that's the way that running back works in the NFL.
I believe you.
But Jahmyr, they've got Jahmyr, who is a multifaceted weapon. They'll use him as a receiver. They'll use him as a running back. They've got David Montgomery coming over from the Chicago Bears. You've got 2 of the best offensive lines in football. The Lions' offensive line has been incredible the last couple of years. In Kansas City, you got Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith, and Andrew Wiley's now gone. Orlando Brown's now gone. They bring in Jawan Taylor from the Jacksonville Jaguars. So these are 2 very inept offensive teams who don't have the best defenses. Kansas City, kind of an opportunistic defense. The Lions' defense was pretty atrocious last year, but we'll get to see what they brought in, how much that helps, especially against the best offense in football on a defense that was really bad last year. They bring in Jack Campbell, first-round pick out of Iowa, who was widely considered the best linebacker in the draft. They bring in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, extremely versatile defensive back, previously of the New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles, was with the Eagles last season. They bring in Emmanuel Mosley, one of the most underrated corners in the league, coming over from the 49ers. They bring in Cam Sutton, another really underrated corner coming over from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, like, they've done a lot to improve their defense, and it will be put to the ultimate test against Patrick Mahomes in week 1.
Yep.
I'm so excited, though. I mean, they could throw the 2 worst teams in the league out there, and I would watch from opening kick until triple zeros on the clock. But I think this is a really good game. I think probably a high-scoring, back-and-forth affair, and it kind of will depend on which defense steps up, which usually Kansas City's defense finds a way to step up and I'm never going to bet against Patrick Mahomes. So I'll say the Chiefs probably pull this one out, but I think it's going to be a very, very fun, entertaining game for the majority.
Is Jared Goff the guy for Detroit, or is he kind of a holding place for their number one quarterback, the guy that they really want, that can take them to the next level?
Yeah, I don't think Jared Goff will ever. I mean, you can't say he can't take you to a Super Bowl because he did take the Rams to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they didn't win, but I don't think Jared Goff is never that guy that's going to push you over the top. I mean, when you think about that Rams team, he played very well in a very well-ran system under Sean McVay that featured Todd Gurley, who was the Offensive Player of the Year, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, the defense led by Aaron Donald. Like, they had a lot of talent on that team. I know that team didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots that year. But to answer your question, yeah, I don't think Jared Goff is like the ultimate end goal for them. Like, I don't think he's the quarterback that they see that takes them to the next level. They drafted Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round of this year's draft.
Is he healthy now?
Yeah. I think he's right around getting. I mean, that was November against South Carolina when he tore his ACL. So he's 10 months removed from that.
He hasn't played any preseason games, has he?
No, he didn't. He didn't play in the preseason. So I think in an ideal world for them, Jared Goff leads them through this year. Hendon Hooker sits back a year, learns, gets fully healthy.
I think Hendon's that guy, huh?
I mean, I think he could be. I thought him being a 3rd round pick was pretty nuts. I mean, I've voiced my opinion on this show of Hendon Hooker before.
I know.
I thought he was better than Anthony Richardson. I know Anthony Richardson was a top 5 pick because of 4.43, 6'5", 240, all that. I just think Hendon Hooker is a better quarterback. Not to say Anthony Richardson can't be developed into something because he has all the physical ability in the world. But I think just because Hendon Hooker is 24, 25 years old and had a knee injury,
yeah, of course,
that shouldn't mean that doesn't not that it shouldn't mean it does not mean that he can't be a really good NFL quarterback. Like, if there's a position where age doesn't matter in football, it is at the quarterback position.
100%. Look at Tom Brady. I mean, not to compare him with the GOAT, but I'm just saying, like,
right. But quarterbacks play later in their career.
Of course.
And I think Hendon has all the upside in the world. I know people say he played in a simplified system at Tennessee under Josh Heupel, and that, maybe that system doesn't translate to the NFL. But you give a guy with that much natural ability. I mean, he's got a beautiful deep ball. Yeah. He's extremely accurate. He can use his legs. Like, he has all the intangibles that you want to see in a modern day NFL quarterback. And now you're going to let that guy sit a year
and learn
and learn and understand the NFL, understand the preparation and everything that goes into it. And maybe he sits for a year, and maybe him and Goff compete next year. And if he wins that starting job, you're on an offense that features Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and David Montgomery and, I mean, Sam Laporta, who they drafted in the 2nd round this year out of Iowa. Like, he could be airdropped into a top 5 offense in the league if all that goes right. So no, I know I'm, like I said, Gabe doesn't let me talk, so I'm being super long-winded tonight. But I think if everything goes according to plan, I think that's kind of their end goal. Now, it could not work out with Hendon, and he could not be the guy, but I do not think that Jared Goff is the guy that they have envisioned as the end goal for this team.
Do you think that it feels almost like to me that the NFL is kind of setting Detroit up for that Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs type storyline where it's like, hey, right now, you guys are the future team, right? Like, you guys are going to be contenders for the next however many years, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. We're going to place you up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who have clearly done what they've done. And we're going to throw you to the wolves for maybe the first couple of matchups. So then that storyline kind of gets built of Detroit kind of bridging that gap with the big bullies on the block, right? And then boom, there they go. Like, kind of like what the storyline, but I mean, is the Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills the last couple of weeks. This has been the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Chiefs the last couple of years. There's been kind of the Chiefs have always been that who's the team that's going to supplant the Chiefs,
Yeah, and I think they're looking at an NFC that is very weak. I mean, you look at the NFC, and the top 3 teams pretty much unanimously, for the most part, are the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Cowboys. And that's not me being a homer. That's just really the NFC is weak. Right. And so it kind of feels like this is them saying, "Hey, Lions, we're going to give you the national spotlight and see if you can kind of supplant yourself into the conversation for one of the better teams in the NFC." Because you don't have to beat the Chiefs to announce your arrival and be like, "No, we're here and we're legit." You play a tough back and forth game with the Chiefs and you give them everything you want, then you're starting to earn some respect around the league.
You still got to play Philly. You still got to play Philly. You still got to play Dallas. I mean, it's going to be tough. Philly's there, but
yeah.